Tonight, NBC News learning from multiple sources prosecutors will call their star witness Michael Cohen on Monday. He called himself Donald Trump's fixer, now a vocal Trump critic. Cohen unleashing on his old boss in his book and on social media, spotted online this week wearing a T-shirt depicting Mr. Trump behind bars. The judge today directing prosecutors to inform Cohen that the judge is asking him to refrain from making any statements about the case or Mr. Trump, but not placing a gag order on Cohen. Mr. Trump remains under one, barring him from attacking witnesses and the jury.
It's a disgrace. It's not a case. There's no crime. There is no crime, and they failed to show a crime.
Cohen, a critical witness for the prosecution, as the jury has now read his text messages, heard his voice, and seen evidence that he paid Stormy Daniels $130,000 just days before the 2016 election so she couldn't derail the campaign. The defense says her story of sex with Mr. Trump was false, a shakedown for money brokered by Cohen, making his testimony and credibility on the stand essential. Mr. Trump has pleaded not guilty to the charges of illegally disguising his reimbursement checks to Cohen, his former attorney, as, quote, legal expenses to cover his tracks. The face-off between the presumptive GOP nominee and Cohen likely to be one of the most dramatic of the trial. Cohen comes with baggage, including previous convictions for campaign finance violations and lying under oath. Meanwhile, today, the jury hearing more from former Trump aide Madeleine Westerhout, who sat outside the Oval Office and confirmed Mr. Trump met with Cohen at the White House in 2017, where prosecutors say they devised their reimbursement scheme. But she testified the former president signed checks without reviewing them first, contrary to what Mr. Trump said in his book and other witnesses said at trial.
So, Laura, we're 4 weeks into this case right now. Has the prosecution appeared to check all the boxes they needed and wanted to check?
Lester, the challenge is that so far this jury has not seen a single document, a single tape, a single piece of evidence directly showing that Mr. Trump himself falsified any records or caused anyone else to do so. Instead, they appear to be relying on Cohen to connect those dots for him, and that's the challenge, Lester.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.